So, the 2024 Player's Handbook for Dungeons & Dragons is finally here. The embargo is lifted, and we now have an opportunity to flip through the pages and take a look and see what it's all about. One of the philosophies that I have always had is, for this channel that is, game stores in the past, you could walk into them, you could open the book up, you could flip through it, see if it was any good, if it was right for you and your table. The unfortunate part is that in today's current environment, landscape of gaming, those game stores have closed up. Most of them have closed up. And your digital platforms like Amazon, even D&D Beyond, they don't allow you to peruse through the material any longer to see if that book is any good for you. That's one of the reasons I'm pretty excited about being able to have this so early so that we can flip through it and take a look at it. Yes, we are going to flip through it. The embargo has been lifted, and we have full-on permission from Wizards of the Coast to check it out. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at it, but one of the first things I want to do is take a look at the back cover. It's going to retail for $49.99, which I think is a really good price for a core book. They could have just as easily, punched that price up to $60, but $49.99, that's a little more reasonable. And that's the same price as what the Player's Handbook was when it came out in 2014. You'll also note that it has a neat little gold foil stamp with the 50th anniversary logo on it. That's kind of cool. And everybody's seen the back of it before. They know, you know what this reads. But one of the first things that I like to do in looking at any D&D book is to check out the disclaimer. The unfortunate part is this book does not have a disclaimer. And that's kind of sad. I really wish that it did. But you can see the table of contents. We have Welcome to the Adventure, Playing the Game, that's Chapter 1. And Chapter 1 goes over, are you going to be a player or are you going to be a DM? It goes over the rhythm of play, the dice, the different abilities, what D20 tests are. Those are going to be like your ability checks and saving throws, attack rolls, advantage and disadvantage. Goes over your proficiencies, actions. Chapter 2 is all about creating a character. Chapter 3 is your character classes, which goes over, your barbarians, your bards, your rogues, your druids, fighters, monks, that kind of thing. Chapter 4 is the character origins. These are going to also cover your background descriptions, like your acolytes, your artisans, your charlatans, criminals, and then you have your species, which in this one you have the Aasimar, Dragonborn, Dwarf, Elf, Gnome, Goliath, Halfling, Human, Orc, and Tiefling. You'll note that the half-orcs, half-elves, they're gone. We knew that was going to happen. Chapter 5 covers your feats. Chapter 6 covers your equipment. Chapter 7 covers the spells. Appendix A covers the multiverse, and Appendix B is the creature stat blocks, and C is the rules glossary, and then the index. And I will say this, the index, actually we'll jump to it first. That's on page 378, kind of towards the back of the book where most indexes are. And this I really like. I mean, it is several pages worth of pretty much anything you could think of to find or that you would need to look up is in the index. And I really like that compared to what we got from the original one in 2014. And of course, you guys know I've been kind of vocal about the lack of indexes in subsequent books that have come out. But again, you've got some cool artwork. I'm not a fan of all of the artwork in it, but I'm not, how should I put it? Even going back to the original Dungeons and Dragons stuff, I'll show you actually. If I can find the book. Hold on one moment. So this is my original DM's guide from Advanced D&D. And you can see, and I'm just flipping to a random page, we didn't have lots of artwork in this. It's just a wall of text. The little bit of artwork that we do get takes up like a 1/16 of a page. It's all black and white. Didn't spend a whole lot of time when I was learning to play the game staring at the artwork. And again, a small little piece of artwork. I get that people really like the artwork, and that's fine. They get inspiration from it, and that's fine. For me, it's not a make or break element of the book. So, but the artwork that's in it, some of it's good, some of it I just don't care about. So anyway, again, Chapter 1, Player or DM. If you're going to be a player, this is the book you need to have. If you're going to be a DM, unfortunately, you kind of have to wait a little bit until the DM's guide comes out. Sorry about that. And again, I'm not going to do a page-by-page flip-through of this, mainly because I'm not a big fan of that. But what I do want to do is just kind of flip through the book. Again, a thumb through, and that will give you an idea of the layout. We will touch upon a couple of important elements to it that I feel are important. And it gives you a chance to see if it's right for you and your table. So, again, we have your abilities. Strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. And it goes over your ability modifiers. I mean, what you're going to note is when you compare this to the 2014 book, is that the layout is a little bit different. Some things have been consolidated and moved around. You have... Actually, this is kind of a neat element. Social interaction examples, and it kind of goes over what active role-playing is, descriptive role-playing, kind of, again, talks about your ability checks. But it kind of gives you some examples of gameplay. So you've got, Jared and Maeve, Jared and Russell, Jared, Russell, Jared, Russell. This is a little conversation between players and how they're advancing through the game that they're playing. And then you have combat, how combat works, creature sizes, how much space they take up. If you're using maps that have squares, it talks about, 4 per square is 2.5 by 2.5 feet. That's tiny. That's how many things can fit there. Movement. Conditions. In conditions, you have blinded, charmed, deafened, exhaustion, frightened, grappled, incapacitated, invisible, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, prone, restrained, stunned, and unconscious. And those are just, hazards, conditions that you're going to suffer or that the enemy can suffer if you, do certain actions to them. This is before we jump into the character sheet, this is Chapter 2 talks about creating your character. And it goes through 5 different steps, which I think is really cool. It's a unique way of doing it. But on the character sheet that's provided in here, you'll note that it has, little numbers, 5, 2, 1, 1, 5, 5, 4 is over here, 3. So when you flip back, 1, you choose a class. That's where you'll reference, this right here. You're going to choose your class, your subclass. 4, choose alignment. That's going to show up over here in your backstory. So I think it makes it, when they talk about it's going to make it faster than ever to create a character, I think that's what they're referring to, is that there's that visual of numbers to the corresponding section in the character sheet. I'll let y'all take a look at that. I mean, it's, the layout is a little bit different. You have a spot for your character name, background, species, class, subclass, level, armor class, your hit points, your hit dice, death saves, weapons and damage, cantrips, your stats, proficiency bonus, more cantrips and prepared spells, your appearance, your backstory, languages, equipment. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they're also going to be releasing a full-on bundle of character sheets. Unfortunately, this is the only one that's in it, and I'd prefer to have character sheets that didn't have all these in it. But for now, this is what we've got. And then, of course, you're going to be able to choose your species. They've got the trinkets table, your character classes, and again, it's your barbarian, bard, cleric, rogue, sorcerer, that kind of thing. There was one question that somebody had in one of my chats about the warlock. Let me see if I can find, and it was specifically was it Eldritch Smite? Once per turn, when you hit a creature with your packed weapon, you can expend a packed magic spell slot to deal an extra 1d8 force damage to the target, plus another 1d8 per level of the spell slot. And you can give the target the prone condition if it is huge or smaller. I don't recall exactly what the question was right now about that spell. But, again, they've got everything laid out in a, I don't know, to me it's a little bit more intuitive than the 2014. It's, again, things are consolidated a touch. Then you have, let's see, what is the next chapter? That's the wizard. Okay, character origins. Parts of species, you've got your background descriptions. Again, this is going to be the stuff that we talked about in the table of contents that has the acolyte, artisan, charlatan, and criminal, that kind of thing. So, for example, we'll look at charlatan. Ability scores to focus on would be dexterity, constitution, and charisma. You have the skilled feat. You are proficient in deception and sleight of hand. You come with you are proficient with the forgery kit tool, and you can either choose for equipment. You can either choose A or B. A would be a forgery kit, a costume, fine clothes, and 15 gold pieces, or option B, 50 gold pieces. Once you were old enough to order an ale, you soon had a favorite stool in every tavern within 10 miles of where you were born. As you traveled the circuit from public house to watering hole, you learned to prey on the unfortunates who were in the market for a comforting lie or two, perhaps a sham potion or forged ancestry records. So yeah, I mean, it's I kind of like the backgrounds. It's not anything that I think is going to, it's not an ooh-ah of the book. But what it does is it helps get that new player that's never played D&D before into the mindset of being creative with their character's background. And I like that. Again, you have, these are the different character species. You have the Aasimar, the Dragonborn, and some of these are not new to the game. Actually, I don't think any of these are new to the game. They're new to the player's handbook, but what was it? I think the Aasimar was in Mordenkainen Presents Monsters of the Multiverse, or was it in Tasha's Cauldron of Every... I can't remember which book it was. Dragonborn... Somebody had a question about Dragonborn, whether or not it went into the chromatic dragons or the gem dragons, and it doesn't. This is all that it gives you information-wise on Dragonborn. I really wish that they would have a little bit more information, but that's it. Just that one page. And then you go into Dwarf, Elf. Again, each one has just one page. I would have preferred to have seen more pages, per species. Then you have the chapter on feats. That's all pretty standard. One of the things I want to really point out is, well, of course, we've got the improvised weapons, mastery properties of the different weapons, cleave, graze, nick, push, and we've gone over that in a previous video. And that's all based on one of the articles that Dungeons D&D Beyond put out for us. Then you have, I want to get over to the, here we go, spells. Okay, so this is a slightly different layout for spells, and I like this. For example, Bane. It's a level 1 enchantment that bards, clerics, or warlocks can get. And this is what's new, is they've added the class that can access that spell. Has a casting time, action, range of 30 feet. Components are verbal, somatic, and material, which is a drop of blood for the material. The duration is concentration up to 1 minute. And then it gives the description of what the spell does. And each spell does, has that same layout. Next. And there's a good healthy amount of spells in here to keep one busy. The monsters, that's why we're still in spells. The multiverse, it goes over, gives us a small little map of the multiverse and where everything is laid out. I think that's kind of neat. But again, there's not a lot of information about the multiverse. I mean, you get one page and a map. So these are the stat blocks. This is how it's going to be laid out. We'll look at, actually, I'm going to flip to my favorite. Any book that I get, I always have to look at zombies. See if there is one in there, if there's a monster. I love zombies. So here's a zombie. It's a medium undead, neutral evil. Yes, armor class is still in here. And in fact, I've got a video coming out in a little bit later that's going to go, or not armor class, alignment, sorry. Alignment is still in here. And I've got a video coming out in a little bit that goes over alignment and how it works. And we'll take a look and see if there's anything that's changed in that for alignment. But armor class is 8, hit points is 15, which is 2d8 plus 6. It goes on a -2 initiative, speed 20 feet. And you can see that the stats are laid out a little bit different. Gives you your modifiers and your, let's see, lists out what the immunities are, what senses it has, languages, undead fortitude. If damage reduces the zombie to 0 hit points, it must make a constitution saving throw with a DC of 5 plus the damage taken, unless the damage is radiant or from a critical hit. On a successful save, the zombie drops to 1 hit point instead. It just keeps coming back, and I think that's kind of cool. And of course it can slam. It's a melee attack. But yeah, I mean, you can see the other creatures, all laid out very similar. Oh, look, it's an alien. No, it's a slod tadpole. Looks a lot like an alien, though, doesn't it? And then you have the rules glossary. This is basically just basic, D&D jargon. Area of effect, ally, armor class. Armor class is the target number for an attack roll. AC represents how difficult it is to hit a target. Your base AC calculation is 10 plus your dexterity modifier. If a rule gives you another base AC calculation, you choose which calculation to use. You can't use more than one. See also attack roll. And you go to attack roll. An attack roll is a d20 test that represents making an attack with a weapon, an unarmed strike, or a spell. See also Chapter 1, d20 test. And, you get, again, more definitions. And then from that point, it goes directly into the index. And that, guys, is a quick thumb through of the new 2024 Player's Handbook. Now, I want to thank all of my Patreon supporters. I want to thank everybody for watching today, for one. But also, two, I would appreciate it if you gave the video a thumbs up. We're definitely going to be going over more elements in this book as I get more time to kind of read through it all. But we're going to cover stuff like alignment. We're going to cover the spells. We're going to cover the feats, the different character classes and the different species, all that fun stuff. And we're just going to dive deep into it. And I have a challenge for you. I want you to take a look at the videos that I put out. And I want to see if you can spot some of the changes. I'm going to talk about some of the changes, but some of them I'm going to purposely not, because I want to see if you're catching on. If you're finding some of these changes that they made from the 2014 version to the 2024 version. And if you do see any changes, let me know down in the comments of any respective video that I've made here. And if you found any in this one, be sure to let me know those comments as well, those changes down in the comments. And if you have anything specific that you want to know about, again, leave a comment for me. We have a Hop-in Discord. That is something that I use as a idea pool. We have a lot of good conversations going on in that Discord. And if you want to join up, I'll leave a link down in the description. But in the Discord, I get a lot of ideas for future videos. So if you'd like to help shape the direction of this channel, be sure to jump into the Discord and let's chat, let's hang out. Talk to me about what you'd like to see, and you can help shape the future of this channel. That's what I've got. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I tried to make this as high resolution as I could so that you guys could see, exactly what you can expect to get with your $50 plus tax. Unless, of course, you're in Canada or Australia or anywhere else where they jack the price up. And sorry about that, guys. But until next our paths cross, may you have fun checking out all the new information that's in the 2024 Player's Handbook.